Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Castello Show. It is match week 16. Super excited to be here with you. I am Brian, as always, here with my co-host and father, John. One thing I do want to say before we get into it, because I haven't said it every week because people haven't watched every week, but if you watch the video and you like it, like the goddamn video, please. We had like 300 views on match week 13 and one like.
320 when I looked today.
It's going up. Also, what the hell are you guys doing watching that video? The game's already happened. Watch the new ones. Those
How
are the
entertaining we are.
I need you to watch the new ones now. But please, it really does help the channel. It shows us to more people. And then also leave a comment. Call him gay. Call me gay. Whatever.
Call him gay.
But super excited to be here with you. Now, before we get into last week's games, there's two that we do want to talk about. Starting off with the CCC, Vancouver going to Mexico City to play Cruz Azul, and there was a lot of hype going into this game. Vancouver, first team to make the final in a while, would have been the first team to win it in a little bit.
Columbus didn't make the final last year?
Oh, they did, and they lost, right?
I don't even know.
That's how little
how much people don't give a shit about
this tournament.
Stupid. It really is stupid. But Vancouver was super pumped, and MLS fans were super pumped that Vancouver is so good. And then to say they shit the bed would be an understatement.
And it was right from the beginning. 5-0 was the final score. Gave up the...
It was 3-0 at the half.
Yeah. 8th minute, 28th minute, 37th minute, 50th minute. I missed 45th.
So it's 4-0 at the half.
50 minutes to get to 5-0, and then Cruz Azul, I assume, took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
They were like,
they put it in the scrubs. They're like, let all the scrubs play.
The only kind of bright spot is Bogusz was a goal scorer.
Good. I'm glad you said that. I was going to say that too.
So there is, I guess, some sense of MLS pride, but also he left.
This is where he learned to play.
Yeah, it was just really bad. Well, and honestly, there was a part of me that thought this could happen because Vancouver just seemed so excited to be there. And it's like, you didn't win the goddamn tournament yet.
Happens.
It seemed like getting to the final and getting through Miami, to them, that was winning.
Well, so I hate the Pacers.
Yeah.
But look at what Rick Carlisle said. Now, that's the first time they've made it to the finals in 25 years.
Yeah.
We're not celebrating anything. That's what he said. We're not celebrating anything. We're not done.
Yeah.
You can't celebrate yet.
Well, and
you have a little whatever one night.
Even in the NBA, they did win the East.
Yeah.
Vancouver won jack shit. They made it to the final.
Right. There is nothing. There is no East and
division. Disappointing. I'll be honest. I don't really care. It would have been cool to see an MLS team win, but it's fine. I wasn't very.
And I really don't think the Mexican League is better than the MLS anymore.
No, I don't.
I used to, but I definitely don't anymore.
I will say this game.
This is 2 teams, 1 game.
Yeah, well, and so this is in Mexico City. Cruz Azul doesn't play at this particular stadium, but Cruz Azul is from Mexico City.
Yeah, they're by far the home team.
Yeah, if this game...
Was this at Azteca?
No, it was at, Olympico de something.
Because Azteca is, more than a mile high,
yeah,
right?
Azteca is a nightmare to play.
Yeah,
and the air's dirty, too. It's not
really?
It's super high up. It's, pollution and shit.
Nice.
Mexico City's really great. It's a nice place to go. But I think this game in Vancouver is probably a different story. I still don't know if they win, but I don't think it's 5-0.
The air in Vancouver's very clean, by the way.
Yeah. Well, and I just think I don't know. There's something about being a Mexican team going all the way to Canada. That's fucking far. It's cold. It's summer now, kind of.
But at night, no, they're still wearing jackets in all these Canadian cities during the games.
But CCC's over. So
thank God.
Vancouver can focus now. We don't have to pretend to give a shit about it on the show.
Well, and it doesn't mess up all your fantasy weeks.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of stuff with it. You really had to pay attention even if you didn't care.
Yeah. Terrible.
The other big game that we did want to talk about was the Club World Cup playoff qualifier, which I didn't even know they did until this particular game happened.
Which no one knew about and was worth $10 million.
Yes. So the winning team was basically to be in the Club World Cup is a guaranteed just about 10 million. It's like 9.95 million or something. The prize pool for the Club World Cup is over $1 billion if you include all the payouts.
You know why that is?
Why?
Because no one gives a shit about it, and then all that money is to try to make you give a shit about it.
Yeah, well, and hey, if you're an owner or you're a chairman, I get
you
giving
100% give a shit about it.
But as a
fan,
I
don't care at all.
It's kind of cool.
Did you look at the groups?
Yeah, they're a little silly.
And then there's clearly a group of death, which is ridiculous. It's like PSG, I think Atletico,
there's someone else.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
But then Miami's is like.
Do you mean LAFC instead of Vancouver? Vancouver in it?
I don't know. Maybe
I thought it was LAFC in Miami.
Yeah, maybe I screwed that up. I don't know. Because I don't care.
Yeah. But LAFC 2-1 win. Bawanga in extra time seals it, and actually their first goal was in the 89th minute. So full come from behind win. It was big for LAFC. I mean, that's because here's the thing. I was worried.
Ali. That's Miami's first game.
That's Ali.
Ali Oxenfree.
Well, let's see.
Look at this. Bayern
Auckland
versus
City.
Auckland City.
Yeah, who cares? Palmeiras Porto. Those are evenly matched teams. I don't care about at least.
Chelsea Lyon. Botafogo Sounders. That's interesting.
That is a fun game. I'm pro
PSG Atletico Madrid when Miami is playing Al Ahly.
Yeah, that
is bananas.
Honestly, I do. There's a part of me that hopes Miami ends up playing PSG somehow because I would like to see Messi against PSG. There's a few individual.
Oh my god, there's way more groups than I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking teams.
Group H. Do we want to run down these?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Group A. Al Ahly. Clearly some Middle Eastern team.
I'm going to guess Saudi.
Inter Miami, Palmeiras, and Porto. Group B. Atletico, Botafogo, PSG, and the Sounders.
Yeah, that's a serious
There's
group.
your group of death. Holy crap. Group C. Auckland City, Bayern, Benfica, and Boca Juniors.
So I don't think Boca Juniors is going to get out of that group, and actually I would like to see them get out of that group.
Auckland City is going to get murdered.
Yeah. No,
God.
Here's the thing.
They might have a minus 20 goal differential in 3 games.
So I will say this. If you're a team like Auckland City, this is kind of cool. Because how the fuck else is Auckland City? I mean, ES Tunis. They're in Tunisia. How the fuck are they going to make $10 million in any other company?
Well, yes, I agree with that.
There's something cool about this.
But they probably don't deserve $10 million.
No, well, and also, is it really fun to, you get to leave Auckland and you go and just get your fucking lunch eaten.
Yeah.
By Bayern, Benfica, and Boca Juniors. At some point in that third game.
You probably should have been a rugby player.
Yeah, dude, when you're down 10-0 again, you have to be like, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, but if you look at these teams, the reason they're here, because in their domestic leagues, they're never down 10.
Right. Yeah, no, and also I think we're going to see some guys be real babies about some losses. Because I think there's going to be teams that are not used to losing that are going to get fucking rocked.
Trounced. No, but they know going in. I mean, ES Tunis can't possibly think they have a chance against Chelsea.
No.
And probably Flamengo, honestly.
Yeah.
And Lyon.
Yeah, that's a rough
I mean,
group
this
too.
is not a great group, but ES Tunis, I don't know how they're going to survive. Group E, Inter, Monterrey, River Plate, and Urawa Reds.
That's something African. I don't know exactly where.
That's an interesting. We got F, Dortmund, Fluminense.
Is every team from Rio in this? Fluminense,
Apparently.
Boca. The only one we're missing is Vasco. And Vasco's in League 2 now.
Mamelodi Sundowns FC.
Hell yeah. Where are they?
The PSL. South African Professional Football Club.
Well, that's fun.
How about that? And then Ulsan, wherever that is. So Dortmund gets a free pass.
Yeah.
And so does Fluminense. Group G, Al Ain, Juventus, Man City, Wydad, AC.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Hey,
a
what
wash.
2 groups are coming out of that one?
Yeah, really?
What 2 teams coming out of that group? Group H, Al Hilal. There's a lot of Al's. I didn't expect that many.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you have money, you can get into any tournament.
Probably.
Pachuca, that's a good one. Real Madrid and Salzburg. Red Bull Salzburg. That's a pretty good group, too.
Pachuca, Real. I mean, Real should walk away with that group, but Pachuca Salzburg is interesting for who takes 2.
So I will say, still nobody cares about this tournament. But after you get out of the group stage, there's probably pretty interesting matchup.
Yeah. I don't think the entire... Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't have this tournament. I do wish it was... Well, I guess it is in the off-season for every other league, so I guess that's not really a fair complaint. It's our season, but it's no one else's season.
No one else's.
So, fair enough. I don't know. I mean, it's a cash grab, but it's a fun cash grab. There'll be good games.
But, money aside,
yeah,
there's no money in any of these tournaments. Does Real Madrid, Salzburg, Man City, Juve, those are the ones on my screen now, any other European team, would they rather win the Club World Cup or the UEFA Champions League?
Oh, Champions League.
And it's not even close.
No, I agree. Well, and it's sort of funny because if you're... To them, they're in the Premier Champions League. Like, they're in the best one. But every continent has a Champions League. There is an African Cup. There is a Asian
and
Cup.
I think some people care about some of those. The CCC, no one cares about.
No, but if I was a player in the MLS and we made the Club World Cup, I care. This is my chance to go play against fucking Juventus and Man City.
Correct, but you're in the MLS in North America in a continental tournament that nobody cares about. So the Club World Cup is your chance to play against all the teams that everybody in the world cares about.
Right.
So that's different.
Yeah.
As Real Madrid, as Man City, as Dortmund, Inter Milan, Chelsea. I mean, I'm going down as Bayern, Benfica, Atletico, PSG.
Yeah.
Porto. If you ask Porto today, without the money, because there's so much money in this, without the money, would you rather win the Champions League or the Club World Cup? They wouldn't even hesitate.
Yeah. No, for
sure.
sure.
The Champions League, which they'll never, ever win.
Yeah. I agree. Well, and the other thing about the Club World Cup, it's only existed since 2000. And I think that's probably a big part of this. There's been a European...
Every tournament and league matters way more when there's history.
Yeah, I mean, let's... Hold on, just because I don't actually know the year and I don't want to get this wrong.
Because it's so important to get all the facts about the Club World Cup correct.
Well, hold on. So the Champions League started in 1955, and I'm pretty sure there was some form of European championship before that.
So, more people are listening on Spotify than watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
But for those watching on YouTube, just so my face looks so confused when I look at your screen, I don't know why there were fireworks when you looked up.
Because the final just happened and it was celebrating. So, this happens on Google now. It's really fucking annoying because I try and look at...
It was like when someone says happy birthday on my iPhone.
Yeah. Well, so I try and look at scores while I'm at work, and I have to do that kind of low key, and then fireworks start, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. But the Champions League's been around for way longer. I mean...
Not as a Champions League, it was the European Championship, wasn't it?
Well, it just said the Champions League has existed since 1955, and I believe there was a European Championship before the Champions League existed. So it's been around even longer than that in some form. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on this.
We're done with all the international crap?
Yeah, I'm glad LAFC won because I was worried that they didn't have enough money. So they have that going for them now.
And now nobody has to translate that into pesos. Because that could take a while.
God, $10 million in pesos. You'd be a billionaire. So we're not going to go through every game.
No, in a double game week, there's just too many.
Yeah, so I'm going to run through all the scores, and then we'll just kind of do our key takeaways. Starting with Wednesday night. So Cincinnati, I'm going to say the home team first every time. Cincinnati 3-3 with Dallas. We had DC 1-1 with New England. Inter Miami 4-2 over Montreal. NYCFC embarrassingly lose 3-0 to Houston. Then we have New York Red Bulls 4-2 over Charlotte. Toronto 1-2 to Philly. Atlanta 3-2 over Orlando. Big win for them. Columbus 2-2 with Nashville. Austin 1-1 with RSL. Seattle 1-0 over San Diego. 0-1 for the LA Galaxy, losing to San Jose.
Again.
Then we've got Portland 2-1 over Colorado. 0-0 Whitecaps Minnesota. Then we move to Saturday games. 2-1 St. Louis over San Jose.
First game with the new coach.
Yep. Nashville 2-2 with NYCFC. New York Red Bulls 2-0 over Atlanta. Come back down to earth. Then we've got Cincinnati 2-1 loss to DC United. Miami 5-1 over Columbus. Then we've got Montreal losing 3-0 to New England. We've got Orlando losing 3-1 to Chicago. Toronto 2-0 loss at home to Charlotte. Then I've got Dallas 0-0 with Philly. Houston losing 3-1 to Kansas City. Then we've got the LA Galaxy with their first win.
Boom!
2-0 over RSL.
If you're going to get a win, your first win, it could be over RSL.
Yeah, for sure. And it'll definitely be when I pick fucking Diego Luna, by the way. San Diego 2-0 over Austin. And then we've got Sunday, just one game, 3-2 win.
Seattle with a rare home loss.
Yeah. You kind of lead it. Takeaways, what do we got?
All right. So, first takeaway, Lucho.
Yeah, this was big.
Yep, it returns to TQL.
For those of you who don't know, let's just some history here. Lucho had 2 more years on his contract. 1 full year and then 1 option year. He requested a transfer this summer.
Which I didn't know until I watched the recaps about this.
I
know he asked to leave.
I did, but I
thought they got rid of him because he was older to get Evander, who was younger.
Yeah, so he requested a transfer. I don't think he requested it to anywhere specific, but Dallas is who won the bidding war, and that's where he went.
Dallas Alice.
It's not working well down there. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but it's he has not found a home in Dallas. We'll say that. He goes back to TQL. Do you have the actual quote?
I do.
Beautiful.
So this is the translation. It was originally in Spanish.
Yes, and this is after the game.
Yep, game's over. They drew
3-3.
Right?
Yes. And I would also like to point out, by the way. Hold on, let me just get his stats.
They were horrible.
This is part of it to me. Oh my god, he's not even fucking listed. There he is. Do you know why I didn't see him? Because I was looking for him as a Cincinnati player. He had
no goal contribution.
No goals or assists.
No goals, no assists. No goals. No goals, no assists.
He was fouled twice. He has, and he gave up 2 fouls, and then 0 key passes, 50 passes.
50 passes, but he didn't get the bonus, which means his pass percentage was less than 75 or 80%.
0 crosses, 0 clearances, no shots on goal. Actually, I don't think any shots. Yeah, no shots.
Wow.
The entire game. So, after a fucking horrific performance.
Yeah. So the announcer, whatever, the interviewer asks, how did you like your return to TQL? He said, to be honest, I expected something different.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there would be a different kind of welcome. They booed me. But I know what I did here, what I did for this club. The truth is, the fans should be grateful. We gave them a supporter shield, an MVP, a goal of the year. I think they should be more appreciative. But I know what I did, the memories I created.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's worse or Zaha's quote that I said a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they're both horrific. So first of all, we gave them a supporter shield, an MVP, a goal of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been a Jets fan, a Mets fan, and Islanders fan my whole life.
Yes.
I've never, as a fan, thought about my team having the home run of the year, the touchdown of the year,
No.
the goal of the year for the Islanders.
So I will say,
So that's
in soccer, goal of the year is a bigger deal than those other sports. Now, it's still, I'd much rather you win the league, but the Puskas Award, I mean, people do care about goal of the year in soccer.
the MVP. Okay. My quarterback wins the MVP. We don't win the Super Bowl. Do I give a shit about the MVP?
Yeah, I'd rather have won the Super Bowl. I will say this, I will tout around that MVP because it's all I have.
Right.
So, sure.
The Supporters Shield. Does that exist in any other American sport?
No.
It's not a championship. So what you didn't give them was a championship.
I do feel weird about the Supporters Shield because, so in Scotland, they have a playoff system like we do. But if you win the league in the regular season, they consider it a league win. Like, you have two champions, essentially. You have a playoff champion and a regular season champion.
That's not very American.
No. I mean, we just wouldn't do that here. So Americans...
There's a winner and a loser.
Yeah, Americans don't care about the Supporters Shield.
So in the wrap-up, Taylor Twellman said, you asked to leave.
Yep.
Which I didn't know until this. Because I initially didn't like they booed him. I didn't realize he asked for the trade. I thought they traded him because he was older.
Yeah.
And they got a younger guy who's just as good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I really thought. I didn't realize that he asked to leave. When I heard that, I was like,
yeah.
Are you kidding? Okay. You asked to leave. If I'm a fan of FC Cincinnati, you asked to leave my city. You want us to bow down in your return and thank you? We thanked you. We thanked you multiple times.
Yeah.
Now that is where Taylor Twellman is right. Rewind that, listen to it again, because it's probably the last time in my life I'll ever say that.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with him a lot.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, I gotta say...
He's hard to listen to.
Taylor Twellman is always yelling.
He's so smug, it's ridiculous.
But he's always yelling. Do you know what he kind of reminds me of? Do you know when you're at a party or a bar, and there's someone that you're like, I think that dude's on coke, but I don't know that. That's the vibe I get off Taylor Twellman.
He keeps doing this.
I could totally see Taylor Twellman finishing up a take and be like, I gotta go to the bathroom again. It's crazy. I'm drinking so much water.
So, I think he's right there. Okay? Bradley Wright Phillips agreed, said that now he's made that statement. What? Nope. Yeah, now that he's made that statement, when you come back again, it'll be even worse. And
Absolutely.
I agree too. 100%. Wait, you just said what? Yeah, you're getting booed harder if you ever come back again. So Kevin Egan asked about a comparison to Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I think is actually kind of I don't think it's apples to apples, but I do think it's a good question to bring up. It's a good talking point. Okay, so here is where Twellman
really loses his mind. I mean,
insanely wrong.
Goes off the deep end.
Okay. So he said that Alexander-Arnold didn't ask to leave because his contract was up.
That's still, you didn't re-sign.
No. He did ask to leave.
Right, he didn't re-sign.
Right. He wasn't in a contract that asked to leave, but his contract was ending, and he said, I'm not re-signing. I want to go elsewhere. I don't want to be on your team anymore. I don't want to be in your city. I want to go to play for Real Madrid.
And make a lot of money.
What I consider one of the pinnacles of soccer or football.
Yeah.
Not your Liverpool team. I do not consider that the pinnacle of soccer. I consider Real Madrid, and I don't want to be on your team anymore. So no matter how much money you offer me, I'm not going to take it because I don't want to be on your team or live in your shitty city.
Yeah, well, there's two things about this. So one, when Kevin was talking about it, my first reaction was, yeah, they cheered at his last game, but this was...
And I couldn't have disagreed with them more.
But this
he wanted to leave. Boo. Get the fuck out of here.
But he got booed the game before when he got subbed off.
And by the way, as a Liverpool fan, I want him gone. He's a horrific defender.
Yeah, no, this was a
and lots of guys can whip balls in. I don't need.
Yeah, I love Harvey Elliott.
Yep,
But
he's a horrific defender. You need to think about some of the games that he shit the bed and let in horrific goals.
But I mean, he got booed. Klopp had to go out and publicly defend Trent Alexander-Arnold. And if Klopp didn't do that, there would not have been a fucking...
And I will say, he hasn't been as horrific since Klopp's been gone because of now the shift to, no, we're a team that has to defend.
Yes. I agree.
But he has been it's not even he's been forced to defend because he sucks at defending. There's been other people to defend for him.
Yes. Yeah, well, when you have Virgil van Dijk, you can kind of lay off as a wingback. But his leaving was not, super well received. I mean,
it shouldn't be.
There's a very famous...
He wanted to leave.
There's a famous mural of Trent Alexander-Arnold that has been vandalized a bunch of times. They keep painting over it, and they keep writing, you rat dick.
Good.
They're going crazy on that thing.
No, I agree. And I agree with booing Lucho. So Sasha chimes in.
Yeah.
He says he understands where Lucho's coming from. That he gave everything for the club, did bring them a Supporters' Shield MVP and Goal of the Year, as Lucho said.
Yeah.
And Sasha talked about him being a human being that called Cincy home for a long time and that it hurts to come back home and be booed.
Yeah, it's a little silly. Here's what it's that line, it's the same logic as being oh, my ex-wife's such a bitch. And it's didn't you cheat on her?
12 brought up a thing like that. I broke up with you, and then I came back and I saw you. He's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's great to see you. What do you expect?
No, it's silly.
But, so Sasha, here's what's messed up. So, not messed up. He's just wrong here. What was great, he said that the club sucked before he got there. And
True.
he's totally right, by the way.
Yes.
They were the last place team, I think, 2 years in a row.
Yep. No, there were people that were should we
Yeah, because they
Cincinnati?
came from, the USL or something, didn't they?
Yeah, and they didn't do a lot of roster changing either.
No, and they were
season.
horrific. But he compared his return to Red Bull Arena and that being booed hurt. But he didn't ask to leave.
Right.
So they shouldn't have booed him. And that's shitty fans, and that's New Yorkers for you.
That is very New York.
Yeah, which I am, but...
Yeah.
But they're assholes. I'm an asshole, I guess. But I wouldn't have booed Sasha.
No.
He didn't ask to leave. He was great here. He did a lot for us. He came back. He was traded. He didn't want to leave. I'm not going to boo him when he comes back.
Right.
So it's not apples to apples. So he put in his feelings and what happened to him, but it's not apples to apples.
Well, and I get it from Sasha with that in mind, but that's not...
Right, but he's wrong.
It's just not what happened here.
Lucho asked to leave. You asked to leave my team in my city. You come back, you get booed. That's it. I don't like you. I don't care what you did while you were here.
By the way, another takeaway, and this is a little... Well, did you have anything more on this game before I move on?
It's not a game.
With takeaway.
I did not.
Okay, one thing that I do want to cut in here, just because it was another great interview. Did you see Suarez's interview after the Wednesday game?
No, I refuse to watch a Suarez interview because I can't even look at him in his
So,
goddamn teeth.
It's really cool that Suarez tries to speak English. Because I know he spoke English in England.
Yes, and Messi doesn't. And
yeah,
that's
and I like that about Suarez.
I do like that about Suarez.
But, holy shit, dude, they should not be letting him speak English. He literally goes, we know the last few weeks we are so sad because the result is not what we want, but we take a confidence to the future. It was crazy. But, honestly, I'm not good at Spanish. If you fucking gave me... I mean, how long has he been in the MLS now?
2 years?
2 years, plus all the time at Liverpool.
Yeah, he was in England for a long time.
That's different English, but it's English.
But he hasn't bitten anyone in the MLS.
That's true. But, if you gave me 3 weeks in Mexico, I could finish a game and be like, nuestro juego fue muy mal y estamos llorando, estoy muy triste. Yeah, I could do that, and it would be fine. His was crazy, dude.
He doesn't come across as the most intelligent person.
No, he does not. That was really all I had. Suarez is back after 2 goals in that ridiculous interview on that game. I was like, let's fucking go.
Well, yeah, and I thought he was going to be back, and then I put him in my lineup, and then I took him out of my lineup, and then I ate that shit. So without that, we had a segue from Cincinnati,
yes,
to the state of Ohio,
right,
which is not a good state.
No.
So, honestly, those 2 teams better make some changes or they better figure something out.
Well,
because
to be honest, these 2 soccer teams are about all that Ohio has going for it sports-wise.
Well, what about the Cleveland Browns?
Right, I mean,
They just got Shedeur Sanders. And 4 other quarterbacks that no one gives a shit about.
I mean, you got the Browns, you got the Guardians.
You got the Guardians, the worst team name in all of sports.
It's rough. And then these 2 teams, which were supposed to... I mean, there was a point where we literally were like, Cincinnati 1, Crew 2. Like, that was...
Oh, yeah, no. They have been the teams in the East.
Ohio was dominating Major League Soccer.
Yeah, I mean, Hell is Real is the best. Some say... who was it? One of them on the wrap-up says that the El Tráfico is better.
Yeah, so Twelman loves El Tráfico, and Sasha...
I think Sasha
likes El Tráfico, because he played at LA Galaxy. That's fucking wrong.
That makes sense. So I do love El Tráfico. It's great. And
Yes.
It's got the best name of all of them.
Yeah.
But Hell is Real is a better game.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
At least this year. I feel like it is perennially, because LAFC and LA Galaxy aren't always both great.
Yeah.
FC Cincinnati and Columbus have been for at least 3 or 4 years
I
now.
also just think something about the West Coast, and not all West Coast sports are like, there's real rivalries in the West Coast. I'm not saying that. But when it comes
Portland,
to...
Seattle.
Right. When it comes to...
California,
They don't...
pro sports don't matter that
No,
much.
they have other shit going on.
Yeah.
And Ohio, if you're a soccer fan in Ohio, Hell is Real is real to you. You hate those motherfuckers.
Yeah. As much as you hate Michigan.
Literally, this is a big deal. There's blood in that rivalry in a way that you just don't have in El Tráfico. They both want to win, but
and that makes a good rivalry.
Yes.
Like Michigan-Ohio State.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I seem to be the only one who feels this, but Charlotte-Orlando, to me, is a rivalry that I care when we lose to Orlando.
It's funny because that shouldn't be the biggest rival.
Charlotte should be.
Right. Atlanta's closer. Nashville's closer.
Yeah,
Just barely,
part
but
of
it's
the
closer.
problem with Atlanta is before there was a Charlotte team, a lot of us rooted for Atlanta. It was the closest team.
Well, they're also a likable team, even though they underperform.
This season they're not, but in general they are.
They generally are. They got a way better stadium than
fuck yeah.
does. Oh,
God, I love Mercedes.
That stadium, man. Oh, such a good stadium.
It rules.
You gotta see a soccer game there, a college football game, I guess a Falcons game.
I will also point out that I thought Charlotte was the worst stadium until we went to fucking Orlando. And that stadium is beautiful, but I didn't see any of it.
No, yeah, right. It's not... It is a better stadium than Charlotte. We just weren't allowed to experience it because we were shuffled like cattle to our seats and could go nowhere else.
No, it was like...
Worst experience ever.
If you've seen you won't have seen this because it's a political thing. But
then I won't.
People at home, the immigrants that got sent back to Venezuela and they're getting off the plane to the Supermax prison.
That's what I felt
And they're like shaving their heads as they're walking down the fucking
that's what I felt like.
It was crazy.
We were allowed in one entrance. There, we had to be patted down, right?
Yes.
Because it was the only entrance that didn't have a metal detector. So you had to be patted down.
Yeah.
And then they escorted you straight to the stairs to go up the stairs. And then our section was 5 seats wide. So there's only one big board in Orlando. It doesn't have 2 on opposite ends of the stadium like every other stadium ever made.
Yep.
It's just one. It's right next to you. So you can't see it because it's right next to you.
No replay as the away fan.
It is bananas.
Which honestly, I think is literally so you can't yell at the ref when there's a replay. I don't know if it was that.
No, I think it's so you have a bad experience.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I love to go to a stadium and see the different concessions they have, the different food, beers, all of that. We had one concession stand. They ran out of... We had one selection of beer. I don't even remember what it was, but my wife gave me that, and I was like, oh, you knew what I wanted? She's like, no, this is all they had.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fantastic.
No, it was real fun.
Awful experience.
But yeah, anyway.
We hate Orlando for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
They have been a team perennially that we don't like the way they play.
Yeah.
Big
Since
diving
Kaká
team.
left.
Yeah, big diving team and everything, which isn't like the way we like soccer to be played.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a ton of reasons we don't like them. Schlegel, is that the defender that I hate?
I believe so.
Yeah, he's the worst. So we were talking about Hell is Real because we were talking about the state of Ohio.
Right.
And it was a horrible week for both Cincinnati and Columbus.
Bad.
Cincy drew with FC Dallas, letting up 3 goals to a team that can't score a goal.
Yeah.
And they lost to DC United without Benteke. And both of those games were at home. Their 2 games prior were a draw to Columbus and a loss to Toronto.
Rough.
So they have 2 points in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If you think that's bad, here comes Columbus. To outdo them, draws with Nashville at home.
Not a team they should draw with.
Letting up 2 goals. And they lose to Miami 5-1.
Yeah.
Their 3 regular season games prior to that were a loss to Charlotte and draws with Cincinnati, that we already said, and Montreal. 3 points in their last 5 games.
Yeah. Well, and it's just not what... It's not what Columbus wants. They just signed Gazdag, which
that has done nothing.
So I can...
Quinn Sullivan and Gazdag, neither of them made out in that.
Yeah. So I can get down with, we have a new player, and it takes a second to get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's some of that in this. Cincy, I think, has less of an excuse, because nothing's changed. So where the fuck did you guys go? You got Robinson back.
So... Cincinnati has had a ton of defensive injuries this year.
Yes.
Robinson, Miazga, and now Haglund.
Yep.
They all have been out for substantial periods of time.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So they play a 3-man back line, and it's those 3 guys.
Well, and regardless of that, though, they started hot. Guys got hurt. They stayed hot.
They didn't stay hot. They stayed okay. Remember, they beat every shitty team
they
by
won a
1
lot
goal?
by 1 goal.
Yep,
you're right.
Shitty teams.
Fair enough.
We talked about that. So, Evander and Denke have not been consistent.
No.
And they're almost never good in the same game.
Yeah. No, well, and it's funny because that 3-3 Dallas game, I actually felt like was the first time I really saw Evander and Denke have, like, good link-up goals. Evander had...
And the defense killed him.
I don't remember which goal it was, but Evander's dribbling in. He has an open shot, and it's just him and the goalie. He took, like...
Yeah, that was great.
It was, like, on stride, too, so it didn't look like the pass was coming, because he never looked at Denke. He's looking at the near post the whole time.
Yeah, no,
it
that
was sweet.
Fantastic.
And Denke was totally ready for that ball.
Yeah, he was.
That's the first time I've seen them, other than that bike that went to Denke, for Denke to score. Those
but
are
in
the only
that same game... Go ahead, sorry.
Those are the only 2 plays that I've really felt like Evander Denke...
No, it hasn't been. It's been this guy or this guy.
Yeah.
That's true. Did you see Flores when he left 2/3 of the field wide open? And that dude was running free.
Bad.
And Flores, you saw his face when he realized what was happening, and you knew his head, oh shit.
Yep.
A professional. I get mad at my 11-year-old girls if they do anything that nearly resembles that.
Yeah.
This is a professional player. 2/3 of the field wide open as the outside defender on the opposite side of the field. It was bananas.
Yeah. To be honest, it was the MLS defending of old.
No, not old, of present. Really, though.
Yeah.
And Orjano, that dude blows.
Yeah.
How he was ever a defender, there was a goal. He did nothing. He stood there. The guy dribbled around him. He did nothing.
Yep.
And then Celentano had no shot.
Yeah. No, well, and
Orjano's terrible.
we're getting out of the era where it's acceptable to have two wingbacks that are not defenders. Like, you need defenders now.
He's Trent Alexander-Arnold. That can't whip balls in.
Yeah, no, at least Trent drops them.
And
right
Real
on
Madrid does not want.
No, certainly not.
But I do think they can turn things around, especially when Hagelin comes back.
Yes, so since he having so many injuries, I think there is hope. Columbus, I think, they have Nancy and they're good at the chess game, but I need more from individual players.
I'm not confident in Columbus at all. I think they are going to start to drop in the standings.
And I think there's two ways this goes, because this is a bad run for them. Either Nancy figures this out, and he is the reason they come back. I think he knows how to get stuff out of his players in general. I also, while he does a lot of things that we think are stupid, he does make great tactical moves sometimes.
Yes, we've said that a bunch of times. We disagree, and that shit worked.
Yeah. But Columbus they're not waiting on anyone to come back. They just signed a guy, they should be the best they're going to be right now.
Here's their problem.
Okay.
Nancy is overconfident, arrogant, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a player of Cucho's quality.
No.
They need a playmaker in that system, and they don't have one. And in the past, they've gotten rid of playmakers, and they're fine. They had Zellaray. I don't know how long people listening or watching have been watching the MLS.
He was
Zellaray was Cucho before Cucho.
Yep.
And he went to the Saudi League for a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And Columbus got a shitload of money for selling him.
Yep.
And we thought that was crazy. And then came Cucho, who was better than Zella.
Yeah.
And now they had Cucho, and everything was fine. And they got rid of Cucho, and we'll be fine. But we're not, because there isn't anyone to replace him. It's not Rossi.
No.
It's not Russell Rowe.
Which I think...
It's not Gazdag. They don't have that guy. And the way they play, they need that guy.
Yeah, I think... Oh, excuse me.
Brian's tired.
Yeah, I think that Rossi was supposed to be the guy, and Russell Rowe gives you the pace that Rossi doesn't have, and I guess the thought process...
Yeah, he's their Ajaman.
Yeah, I think literally the thought was, well, Rossi and Russell Rowe together are as good as Cucho alone, but that is just not what's happened. That's not true.
Yep.
And Gazdag, he hasn't looked like Gazdag yet. He didn't look like Gazdag in Philly. There's a part of me that thinks, he's just getting used to the new system. There's a part of me that thinks
Gazdag is very hot and cold, and he's more cold than hot.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know
if... Bernadeschi without such high highs.
Yeah, well, so the one thing I would say is different. I never watched a Gazdag game and think, he didn't try today. There's times where I'm like, he sucked.
Right. I'm talking about actual output and performance.
Yeah, when Bernadeschi sucks, Gazdag. A lot of times it's effort.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen with Gazdag, which honestly I think is more concerning, because he's doing his best.
Yeah.
He's really trying as hard as he fucking can, and he still sucks.
Yeah. That's concerning. But,
yeah,
I still think Nancy's one of the best coaches in the league, maybe in the world, and people wouldn't say that about an MLS coach.
No.
He's really great, but I think that his overconfidence and arrogance I think he's met his match now, and I don't think they need another player, and I don't think that even though he thinks he can overcome this shit, I don't think they can.
No. Well, and I think they'll still be in the playoffs. I think they'll probably still have a home
9
slot.
goddamn teams make it to the
right,
playoffs.
But I think they'll still probably be in the top
like the NBA.
4, honestly. I wouldn't be shocked at all by top 4.
Because the East is...
Yeah, well, and especially if Cincinnati keeps dropping.
Who passes them? I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I can think of one team that might...
The new best team in the East?
Yep.
Is it Charlotte?
It's not. That would be cool.
It's not Charlotte.
I kind of said it already when we were talking about
it's obvious who it is.
Miami's back, dude.
Yeah.
They looked so good this weekend. Messi had that whole press conference where he was like, now we're going to find out if we're a real team.
Yeah.
And I liked that from Messi. I got to say...
Yeah, no, that's what a leader does, right? It's calling the team out, it's calling himself out, and then he went and performed, and that's his message. Hey, I called us all out, including myself, and I performed, so now you fuckers better step up.
Yeah, well, and not that we need to have another round of Messi's, we all know Messi's fucking awesome. But I think, because you and I think I would put us in the Messi hater category,
Absolutely.
To be honest.
I wasn't before he came to the MLS. Actually, that's not true. After he won the World Cup, so the whole world went, he's not great. He should be doing this. And he's not even the best in Argentina, which was
is crazy.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Okay? Because he's not a cheater. Okay?
Yeah. By the way, Maradona, who they're saying was better,
That shit, I hate him so much.
I literally saw a video on Instagram the other day of Maradona scoring a goal in the Italian league, running to the sideline, and then doing a bump. So that is who we're comparing.
He's the worst.
To Lionel Messi.
He was huge into drugs.
Yes. I wonder why he was so crazy.
But then, everyone was wrong before that, underestimating what he actually did because he didn't win a World Cup.
Yeah. By the way,
lots of great players that never won a World Cup.
Before I say that, people at home, if you don't believe me, please go look that up. I swear to God, there's a video of Diego Maradona scoring a goal, running to the sideline, and doing cocaine on Italian national television.
That was not a joke. That was
it's
real.
The craziest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah. That was reporting, is what that was.
Anyway.
So, but then he wins the World Cup, and now, because of that, now all of a sudden he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Which I think people forgot about Pele.
Yeah.
Just in, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
He won 3 World Cups? 4? Was it 4?
I believe 4 in 5 attempts. It could have been 3 in 4 attempts. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
But it was 2 back-to-back.
Professionally into like his 50s or 60s.
60s.
Yeah.
So it was 3 World Cups because they won. It was like 2 in a row, came in second, then won again.
Yeah.
So 3 World Cups in 4 attempts. And by the way, 4 finals in a row. Brazil.
Yeah. But this guy's now the greatest of all time because he won a World Cup. But before that, he wasn't even the greatest from his country. A drug addict was. And that's not fair.
No.
For me to hate Messi because of what the rest of the world thinks about him, but that's how I am.
Yeah. Well,
I do that all the time.
A lot of
professional athletes.
What I hated about Messi, because I didn't blame that on Messi. The constant shoving Messi down my fucking throat from
the MLS.
Apple and the MLS.
Jesus Christ. Their studio is pink. We've talked about this, not this year, but in previous seasons. We've talked about the studio's pink. They lead with Miami every goddamn wrap-up.
Yeah. That makes me hate
so much.
A team, a player, whatever.
Yeah.
To be honest, I felt the same way about Steph Curry when they wouldn't shut the fuck up about Steph Curry. I mean, any player that they can't stop talking about, I grow to hate.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. You get that from me. You're welcome.
But that interview and then these 2 games, I really started to like Messi. I remembered why I liked him.
I still don't like him.
I do. Well, but
I do think he's doing the right thing in all this.
Things I like
by what he says and his actions. Now, no, I have to perform. I'm clearly the leader on this team, and I have to perform, and he is. Yes, and I respect that.
Well, and the other thing, so growing up, at least if growing up my age, you were a Messi fan or a Ronaldo fan as a soccer player,
and that was the debate.
Yes,
every kid I coach. Do you like Messi or Ronaldo?
Who is better?
I remember that.
Ronaldo was for pretty boys and people that wanted to score pretty goals. And Messi was, I just am good at this game.
I want to win.
Yeah, and Messi was that. He was very little flash. He's got one move, and it's a body fake. He never does anything fancy other than a chip. But
he doesn't over-celebrate.
Even a chip isn't that fucking fancy. And he does it when he needs to do it. He's not, like, trying to do it for no reason. He just does what is expected of him every single time.
But I don't feel he's that understated guy like he was.
No, but I don't think that his play is any different. I think the league just doesn't shut the fuck up about him, so we associate him with flash. But he isn't flash. Like, that's not who he is, you know? And I think it's a little unfair that I've hated Messi so much, because he didn't do anything that I didn't like. That's fine. I'm not saying you gotta be a fan.
He's still gonna be on my fantasy team, though.
Right. But this week...
It's like Tom Brady.
I really... And I'll say this. I had Messi on my fantasy team. If I didn't, I would have been angry all weekend. But...
I lost anyway.
I was a Messi fan this week. When he scored that ridiculous fucking goal...
I was a Messi fan because he was on my fantasy team.
The goal that got kicked right into his chest by the goalie, and it was just touch shot. When that went in, I literally was, like, walking around my living room doing that. Like, I was so pumped. That was sweet to watch.
I was at a soccer tournament all weekend. I didn't see shit.
That sucks.
Yeah. It was an awesome tournament, actually.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. There were games that went to PK shootouts.
That's fun.
Yes. Yes.
Messi's back, though. Suarez is back. They looked really good together.
Yeah. And the question is, will they keep this up, or will they be old men again?
Yeah. Well, and
Get hurt like Alba.
We're not...
The defense is way better with him hurt.
Yeah, it really was. They're not going to see Messi, Suarez both going off every week. I just don't think they're capable of going off every week, but I think we are going to see it a lot more. They really haven't put it together at all this year. They had a hot
they did that quite a few times last year, actually.
Yeah, and
both guys had, like, one had 2 goals and assists, the other had 2 assists and a goal.
Yeah, they're capable of that. And they
should be against these defenses.
And they played together for so long. They really know each other well. They don't have to look up to find the other guy. They just know where he's going to be. That Suarez goal off the Messi cross, where he takes a touch in the box that he should have had no time to take.
When nobody closed down space, where the guy was guarding the opposite goalpost from where the ball was.
Yeah.
And the ball carrier was on the goal line, so he had no chance of putting the ball anywhere near the far post. But he was going to cover that post instead of Luis Suarez.
Silly. I slowed it down, though. Messi dribbles in the box for 9 seconds. He's standing still.
9 seconds with you slowing it down? Or real time?
No, real time, 9 seconds. I slowed it down, so I started my clock at the right time.
So that must have taken like 28 seconds.
Yes. But 9 seconds, he's in the box, dribbling. 4 of those seconds, he's completely still. He's literally just standing,
waiting for the guy,
waiting for Suarez to get open, and it worked. They know how to find each other, and they haven't done it all season. That's what made them dangerous, was the combination of all these players, and now I feel like they have that.
We will see.
Yeah, who knows?
And if the state of Ohio continues to be awful, it could be a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, and they've got an off week this week.
Like most of the league.
Yes. Honestly, was that the last takeaway? Should we
go
into... Oh, a big one. How could I forget?
The season for LA Galaxy in their 16th game? 17th game?
17th game, and it's... Woo. So I will say this. It sucks that they won the second one and not the first one, because losing the first one, they officially have the longest winless streak in the MLS.
Actually, that's exactly the way I wanted it to happen.
Yes, so they did break the record.
I love to see records broken.
They went the longest without a win, and then finally got one. So they hold that record by 1 game now.
Good for them. Well-deserved.
There's a whole debate on Apple TV and just MLS in general, like articles and shit, about can the LA Galaxy make the playoffs? The LA Galaxy cannot make the playoffs. I'd like to say that here and now. There's a 0% chance.
Ricky Puig has to play in their next game.
They need 36 points, I would say.
Well, someone said something like they need to have as good of a second half. They need to have a better second half than the current Supporters Shield
first half. It's just not going to happen. They have 17 games remaining.
Ricky Puig is pretty good.
33 points, so they need to win 11 of 17. That's only winning 11 and losing 6. And they're going to
6.
They're not going to do that. And that, by the way,
6?
No, I don't think they're going to do that. That just gets them.
It depends on when Ricky Puig comes back.
Yes, but I also, how much is Ricky Puig going to He can only
won
do
the
so
MLS
much.
Cup last year.
Yes, but
with Ricky Puig.
they weren't this bad without Ricky Puig last year.
So I think it was one of the Apple guys, but I'm not positive. But I don't know where else I actually watch MLS soccer, so
Right.
I guess that's
it's Apple TV and articles. So,
but it could have been an announcer from a game.
that's true.
You know, which is on Apple, but there's a ton of different announcers because there's 15 or 16 games at a time.
Yeah. By the way, it's a good thing that there's no MLS coverage because otherwise we wouldn't have a show. So
yeah. So they talked about the roster and that if you put this roster against the current Supporters Shield leaders, Vancouver,
Yep.
and you go, which roster's better? It's LA.
Yeah. No, they shouldn't need Ricky Puig. This is
Now, I said a few weeks ago what I thought of Vanny, and I think he's dog shit.
terrible. Don't understand the re-sign
Clearly,
either.
there's a problem there because this roster didn't just die. Gabriel Peck is a great player. Joseph Paintsil is a great player. I hate Marco Royce, but he's a very good player.
Yeah, we loved Marco Royce until he, snubbed Charlotte. Charlotte had the discovery.
No, I didn't like Royce back in Dortmund.
Oh, no, I
he was
liked
hurt
him.
all the time. I
Yeah.
don't like guys that never on the field.
By the way,
that was that guy.
Fun fact, I don't know which FIFA it is, but this is just funny. I think FIFA 17, that was when they started giving players traits. One of Marco Royce's traits was made of glass. That
There you go. Glass
true.
Joe from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Literally.
That is Marco Royce. By the way, I think the last FIFA I played was
98.
yes,
Because I used to play
that
it
was
as
the
well.
World Cup one.
Yes, because it was a PlayStation 1 game, but we had a PlayStation 2, so you couldn't save it. So if you
But it
wanted
was backwards compatible that you could play it.
if you wanted to play a World Cup, you had to play the entire tournament through in one sitting because you couldn't save your progress.
Nice.
So it took me an entire day to play a tournament, and I would do it every day.
But when you're a little kid, you have all that time to just
Yeah, it
waste
ruled.
on video games.
I still make that time to waste on.
And then what was that?
Blur.
Yes, Blur.
Song
two. Nicely done.
Blur rules.
Yes. Woohoo!
Great song.
Great song, and it made that FIFA soundtrack. So LA Galaxy got their first win.
Yes.
We didn't even talk mostly about that, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No,
They
I don't
didn't really
care about the
deserve-
win.
They didn't really deserve a lot of hoopla anyway, because it's one damn win in 17 games.
I mean, I will say this. It's got to be a sigh of relief. You know, we finally got one. We can do it again. I mean, I have to imagine if you're at LA and you get to game 14, there is some part of you that's like, we're never going to win.
No,
a
yeah,
game
no.
again.
You got to break the ice. And
Yeah.
they did. No, that's a big hurdle. There's a psychological, I guess you'd say, hurdle. Absolutely. To get that first win, that's so hard.
For sure. Last week's fantasy...
Ugh.
We'll start with my team based on that. Not a great week, 155 points. I did win.
Shit, I had more points than that.
Yeah.
And I lost.
I won my head-to-head because I played Travis. Suck it. But overall, I mean, I'm not super happy.
He finally understands what an orderer is, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
We discussed that at the tournament.
So I am 1440 overall. I'm like 45th in Charlotte. I'm just barely staying inside the top 10 right now.
I finally
top
passed
10%. Did you?
1,400.
Wow. I'm just barely inside the top 10% still. But definitely not where we want to be. Celentano in the net with 2. Miles Robinson.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
2 points in 2 games.
Terrible.
That's
Celentano.
the state of Ohio.
Yeah. Celentano and Robinson really fucked me here. Celentano with 2, Robinson with 7. Freeman with 9, which good second game, but terrible first game. Kai Wagner with 24. He kind of saved me a little bit at the back. Then through the midfield, I had a Vander captained. It was the wrong decision. 24 points as my captain. Then I had Rusnak on 10 and Luna on 11. Not what you want in a double game week. On the bench, I had Heel with 12 and Ojeda with 18. Then up top, I had Baribo with 2 points in 2 games. I had Martinez with 6 points. And then Messi on my bench with 42. Messi's 42 and Ojeda's 18 playing, so 60 of my 155 points coming off the bench. Yeah, I mean, retrospect, I captained Messi, and suddenly this is a great week. So it's...
I mean, that was the play.
155 is not good, but I'm close to... I mean, I'm in the ballpark, and I feel like that's been the story a lot of weeks, is I'm just barely
and it gets
not
frustrating after a while.
Yeah.
I just made the wrong decision again.
Yes. What I will say, my blind faith in Baribo, that's ending.
He's so hot or cold, and his hot is so hot.
Yeah.
But his cold is so
And I
bad.
still love Baribo in certain matchups. I think part of the reason I took Baribo this week is because I felt safe with that. And
right, because in 2 games, he'll play and he'll score.
That's not what Baribo is. He's not a safety pick. You pick Baribo because he's going to go off this
He gets
week.
0 bonus points. It's all goals or nothing.
Yeah. And honestly, I would stay away from Baribo in general if you can. If there's another striker who you like the matchup on, his lows are too low. 2 points in 2 games is unacceptable from a striker. It really is.
Oh my god,
you need shots on goal. I mean, 4 shots on goal gets you a point. That means he had less
60
than 4
minutes
shots
each
on goal.
game, he would have had 4 points.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Martinez 6 points. I mean, it's 2 bad games, but it's what it is. That happens. I wasn't that mad about that. Luna getting nothing against the Galaxy was really fucking angering. It would be the week that I play him that they decide to be good. Honestly though, I'm as much as I wasn't happy with the score, I didn't feel like this was all me. I mean, the whole league was fucking weird in this double game week.
A lot of shit happened.
There were a lot of players that went off that were not who you would expect. John,
and then a lot of players.
Yeah.
Like Jordi Alba.
Let's get into it. Go ahead.
So that's one of my defenders. He got hurt in like the 18th or 22nd minute.
Yep.
I guess he had a yellow or something. I don't know. But he had 0 points. He did something to get a -1 because he had 1 point for less than 60 minutes.
Yeah.
He had 0. Was hurt, didn't play the second game. So in 2 games, he had 0.
Great.
Yep. Here's what's funny. I had Messi and Suarez at one point and took out Suarez because I thought he may get hurt and not play both games.
Yeah.
Yep. So instead that was Alba, who I did play. My keeper was Celentano, just like Brian. He was dog shit. And then I had Wagner and Nahar. Nashville defense was horrific this week. Nahar had 3 points. Wagner had 24. So Wagner had 5 times the amount of points of all of my other defenders and keeper combined. So that was fantastic. I also captained Evander. I wanted to outsmart all of those who were captaining Messi, so that worked out well.
Yeah.
I had Ojeda in my starting lineup, not on my bench. That was 18. I had Rusnak in my starting lineup. I think you did as well.
Yes.
10 points. I had Heel and Mukhtar on my bench at 12 and 16 respectively, and those were played because my other bench play was my third forward, Josef Martinez. When you said Martinez had 6, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
He had 8.
NYCFC.
But you had Alonso Martinez.
Yes.
I looked over and saw that, and then the confusion was gone. Josef's goal in the second game was great.
Great goal.
He did nothing in the first game.
Well, it was funny because you texted me, I'd love to see a Josef goal. And then it happened,
Bang.
and we both texted each other immediately.
I'd love to see $1 million. So I also had Denke and Messi at 16 and 42. They were good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, captaining Messi was... And I said last week, Messi's been bad for so long. They have 2 games. They have to do it this week. And I played him. I didn't even put him on my bench. I put him in my starting lineup and didn't captain him, which was so stupid. Because I thought for sure Evander was going to go off.
Yeah.
And my original second, because Denke was my originally third forward. My second was Choupo-Moting.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't start. So I took him out, put in Suarez.
Yeah.
Took him out, put in Josef Martinez. And put Denke into the lineup. Choupo-Moting gets 2 PK goals when he comes in the first game.
Yep.
What does he get overall? A lot more than damn Josef. And I think even more than Denke.
Yeah.
I just got screwed on forward so bad because of lineups and everything. I love double game weeks. and it did not treat me well this week. I had 167. I lost 176 to 167 in my head-to-head. I was 47th for Charlotte in the week, 44 overall now. I was 14-16 overall, so now I'm 1,400 overall for the season. I dropped in the Champions League qualifier from 370 down to 564.
That is out of striking distance.
There's still 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
And this is a crazy week with only 5 games.
Right.
So there could be a lot of people that shit the bed.
That's true.
So I don't think 564 is out of striking distance.
Well,
I mean,
and
you're talking about the top 128th, whatever that is. So that's the top 4%, almost 4.5%.
Yeah.
The top 4.5%, I would say, is within striking distance.
Fair enough.
So, but that was my week. What do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, let's get into next week's games. Like we said, there's only 5. So Saturday, starting at 7:30, we have DC United Chicago Fire. Then 9:30, we have the Rapids in Austin. Because even when there's only 5 games, we need 4 different fucking kickoff times. Sunday, we've got a 7 o'clock game, Portland, St. Louis. Then 2 9 o'clock games, LAFC hosting Kansas City. And then we've got the Whitecaps Sounders. That is a big game. The rest of these, personally, I don't care about at all. But it makes for an interesting fantasy week because you don't have a lot to pick from. You got some mismatches here. So it could be interesting. As far as teams we like, John, you want to go through the numbers?
Yeah, so offensively, the numbers really lean towards Vancouver the most, then Portland and LAFC, and then Chicago. Defensively, honestly, pretty evenly they point towards Colorado, LAFC, Portland, and Vancouver. So,
yeah.
Actually, probably Vancouver more than the others, but it's pretty close, actually, by the numbers.
Yeah. So my players as of right now, so I have Zach Steffen, Colorado keeper, on my bench. Now, I don't know if he's back.
Right.
If he's not, I will look for whoever the Colorado player is.
Yeah.
No.
No, he doesn't exist in the game.
Well then never mind.
Yeah, the Colorado keeper that has been playing isn't in the game. The only other Colorado keeper in the game played in week 4 or 5 or something like that. Right. He has not been playing with Steffen being out.
So I do have Larice.
So you can't take the Colorado keeper if Steffen isn't playing.
I do have Larice playing. Honestly, what I might do is put Chris Brady in for Zach Steffen, because here's what I want.
Here's the problem. You got to make that decision before, because Chris Brady plays 2 hours before.
Well, yes, I know that.
So you don't have the opportunity to see if Steffen plays.
The reason this is important that I have someone on the bench going first is because I have Larice on the field right now. Then on my back line, I have Segura, Ali Ahmed, and Rosenberry from Colorado. I do have Mascara here right now. If Rosenberry gets a clean sheet, I'll probably scrub him out. I don't really want to play 4 defenders. One of them is going to get scrubbed. I just don't know who yet. Through the midfield, I've got DaCosta, Antony, and Mihailovic on the field. I've got Vite and Rusnak on the bench. Up top, I have Bouanga, Brian White, and Kuipers on the bench. So, if I can get a clean sheet out of my first goalie, I will take Larice out, which gives me an option for an LAFC midfielder instead of Rusnak, which is what I really want. Now, I am confident in a Larice clean sheet, so if I can't get a clean sheet out of Saturday on my bench, I will leave Larice in and just hope Rusnak plays well. He hasn't had a good game in a few weeks. Maybe he comes back. He's on my bench. If he doesn't, it'll be fine. I will also say, with all this, I'm scared of Rusnak because I think Vancouver really is the worst matchup to have this week.
Yes, and Seattle on the road is as good. Now, Rusnak does score on the road. I don't mean score goals. I mean scores fantasy points.
Right.
but I still don't trust them. I don't like this matchup. Seattle on the road is a different team, and with only 5 games, Rusnak is not actually in my lineup at all.
Yeah, well, and I think
that could be a differentiator for me because the whole world has to take him when there's only 5 games.
Yeah, well, and I'm really betting on Rusnak having a get right game here, and it's just hard for your get right game to be against fucking Vancouver. Like, that's not
Vancouver coming off a horrific loss.
Yeah, you have to imagine
in Mexico coming home, they could win this game 4-0.
Yeah, that's what I got right now. I don't even know who my captain is going to be. To be honest with you, it's probably Bouanga or Brian White. One of those two. We'll see how I feel as we get closer because they're both Sunday night, so I'll still be able to change it. John, who you got right now?
All right, so I'm playing a 3-4-3 with 2 defenders on the bench and a midfielder on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I currently have Zach Steffen as you did. I will probably pivot to whoever is in goal for Portland, which would be Pantemis or Crépeau.
Right.
My issue with that is that I have Mascara, DaCosta, and Anthony, so one of them I would have to drop.
Yeah.
Which would probably be a midfielder. But I'm not positive yet. Hopefully Steffen plays, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Brady as well, and if Steffen comes out on the injury report, then we will know before Brady's game that he's definitely not playing.
Right.
And I probably would pivot to Brady to give myself a chance before Larry and give myself a true keeper and give myself 2 options.
Right.
Defensively, I love Ahmed. I like Vancouver offensively and defensively, so you got to love Ahmed. I like Eddie Segura as well in LAFC. He does get more points in general than the other guys, attacking-wise. He gets a shitload of passes like Long does, but he also gets some assists. He gets some other bonuses as well. So if you like LA, Segura is a really good option.
Yeah,
and then I have Juan Mascara. He's the option for Portland. I wanted to spread all that out. I feel like people will be doubling up. I feel like people will be just choosing a lot of different things. Those are the 3 teams I'm most confident in. And they're also later. So on the bench, I do have Maxo and Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can start scrubbing defenders out if they get their clean sheets.
Yeah.
On the field, DaCosta, Anthony, Mihailovic, and Vite. I don't actually love Mihailovic this week. I just don't think there's a lot of other options.
Yeah, no, I have him. Because who else am I going to take?
Yep, I had the Vite Berhalter debate in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Berhalter has the higher floor. Vite has the higher ceiling.
Right.
And I just feel like I'd rather have the higher ceiling right now. I'm trying to get into that Champions League. I'm much lower than I would like to be.
Yeah.
I need a differentiator, so I want the higher ceiling. I have Zinkernagel on the bench. If he is awesome, maybe I even scrub out Vite or one of those Portland players to allow for Pantemis with no Zach Steffen. Up top, they're all on the field because I think they're going to kill it this week. Brian White, Bouanga, and Kuipers. I currently have Bouanga. It could change to White.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's funny because they're so good that you forget Kuipers, but he could go off as well. DC United.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not good, and they're coming off this big win against Cincinnati.
Kuipers has been kind of quiet recently
for a
as well.
Game.
There's a lot that points at Kuipers for me. I mean, if we just look at... Hold on, he's projected 8.8 points versus DC. No one's ever projected over 8. That's crazy.
My captain will be one of those 3 forwards, though.
He had...
Absolutely, that's where the captain
2 goals against Orlando last week, but other than that, I mean, pretty quiet.
Yeah, so that was the get-right game, was his last game.
And going to DC now, I would argue much easier defense to get through than Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows? But I think Kuipers is definitely liable.
Some Zinkernagels to Kuipers, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Jack Elliott to Kuipers.
Could be.
Yeah, that would be nice as well. But that's my team for the week currently.
Yeah.
Could change, especially as reports come out. But that's what it is right now.
So, going through lines this week, if you're betting, as always, we use BetMGM for the lines. You can use whoever you like, but just know the lines are going to be a little different. DC United plus 145. The draw is plus 40, and Chicago is plus 165.
Chicago's plus 165.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
I like Chicago.
I don't think Benteke is going to play, and if he does, he's not going to play the whole game. He's been out for like 4 or 5 games now.
I will say this, if Benteke doesn't play, because these lineups get released about an hour before, if Benteke's not in,
that line's going to move.
Yes, but I would bet Chicago even when the line moves, honestly. If you want to put money on Chicago now to get the line, I don't think that's unreasonable, because plus 165 is a good number. Colorado plus 115 playing Austin. I mean, plus money, you got to take them.
Austin's so bad. They never score goals.
Austin plus 220. And the draw is plus 240. So if you do think Austin can hold a draw or win.
Draw. I would not take Austin.
No, but I could see betting.
I could see a draw. Colorado has a lot of letdown games, especially at home.
Yeah, well, and honestly, you bet the home and you bet the draw. And now if they...
To draw at a much lower number to try to win back some of your losses.
Right. Portland... Whoa. How did I do that? Well, yeah.
Oh.
I clicked on the game on accident.
Gotcha.
Portland, St. Louis, minus 135. Portland, St. Louis is plus 310. The draw is plus 290. I mean, I think Portland's going to win this game.
I do as well. You know, they had their one win.
Yeah.
Right? The coach is gone. New coach. They get their game.
Now it's going to be
Then it's done. I will say there's 2 things, though, that might not hold true.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Leuven is back.
Yes.
He wasn't there since March.
No, it's a big addition.
This coach that got fired didn't have Leuven most of the time. This new coach, in his first game, gets Edward Leuven.
Yep.
Big difference.
And Leuven got a goal. It was a PK goal, but he got a goal. So, ice is broken. He's back.
Yeah. Also, they've been playing 3 in the back this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Now they change their formation to 2 in the back. And a different formation is a big difference.
Yeah.
So between Leuven and the different formation, it might not just be a one-hit wonder. So I still think Portland's just a better team, and they will win this game.
I agree.
But I wouldn't be overconfident.
Especially in Portland. That's the other thing.
But with your normal one big hit, when the coach is gone and then they come back to earth, it's in some ways it is a different team.
Yes. No, I agree. Next game up, LAFC minus 185 hosting Sporting Kansas City. I mean, that feels about right.
Yeah.
Minus 185.
And I would lay that.
Yeah.
Sporting has been way better lately, by the way.
Yes, but they're still not on par with LAFC.
LAFC at home.
And LAFC...
And I do hope that LAFC isn't riding high on this CCC.
Yeah, the Club World
Cup win.
Don't forget... Sporting Kansas City played 2 games last week.
They had a huge party, though.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's high, and now we're at home playing shitty Sporting Kansas City, and now all of a sudden, Rat Boy Shallowy sticks it in your ass.
Well, and it's up to Cherundolo to keep him focused. And he's historically, I think he is good at that.
He had a weird press conference.
He's weird.
He's a weird dude. I didn't realize that. I remember him as a player, and then he became a coach. I was like, oh, that's cool. U.S. men's national team, Steve Cherundolo. He's coaching him. That's awesome. I listen to that dude talk, and he is a weird cat, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You're super tired.
I know. Last game, Vancouver.
Thank God, right?
Yeah. Plus 145 playing Seattle.
Wow, plus 145.
Yeah, Seattle's plus 170. The draw's plus 230.
That's my pick of the week. At plus 145, dude,
Vancouver.
Coming off that loss at home.
Yeah.
They are going to raise hell, man.
I agree. So, Vancouver, I mean, to me, the big one's Colorado. That's my pick. I think Vancouver's another great one. Honestly, if you want to get crazy and parlay.
Getting money, getting odds,
If you want to get crazy, I mean, you could parlay Vancouver and Colorado. I could even see...
if you want to get crazy, just lay 1,000 on Vancouver.
True. I could also see a parlay with, like, Colorado and LAFC, just because LAFC's about as close to a sure thing as you're going to get. So you throw that in to increase your odds on the risk.
I'm telling you, I'm a little worried on LAFC being too high.
It's possible.
This is a letdown game.
Well, and hey... It's plus 300 on the tie and plus 450 on the Kansas City win.
Lay low money on both of those.
You
and
could.
just hope for the best.
So that is an option. But yeah, that's our show this week. John, is there anything else you want to say to the people?
Good luck, and always check your lineups.
Check your lineups, guys. Also, like the video, comment, all that shit. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.